Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Captain Andrew Helbig speaking. On behalf of myself and the entire crew, we just want to thank you for joining us. And sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the in-flight movie.
I'm Jen Stormer. I teach at Northmore Elementary School in the Northmont City School District.
Hi, my name is Jenny Reed. I am a second grade teacher at Northmore Elementary in the Northmont City Schools District.
And I went to Belize for my Fun for Teachers Fellowship. So in Belize we got to do a lot of awesome things. We got to climb the ruins, learned a lot about Mayan history and Central American culture. We also got to go to Key Kulker, where we got to snorkel and learn about conservation efforts of marine life there. In addition, when we were inland, we got to go into the jungles and learn about conservation and sustainability issues with wildlife in Belize.
It's definitely more than I even imagined it could be. I got to do amazing things that normally I would never have the opportunity to do, to bring back to my classroom, such as going through caves, visiting howler monkey sanctuaries, snorkeling, seeing wildlife and things that I tell my students about, but now I get to actually say I saw them and share videos, pictures and sounds and all the wonderful things I got to do.
We chose Belize because, one, our largest growing population of students in this district is Latino students, and we really didn't know a lot about Central American or Latino culture, so we wanted to immerse ourselves into that. Another reason we went to Belize was because of the jungle and marine ecosystems, and we do a lot of life science work with learning about those ecosystems and food chains and food webs.
I feel much more excited teaching this year. I've been able to use so many things that I've learned on my trip. We actually are doing a sound unit, and howler monkeys was an example of how loud decibels things are, and I got to actually play videos of my trip and I got to actually hear them, which was amazing.
But to start, we're just going to have you and your buddy kind of read through your books together. You can decide, since these are your joint books, if you want to take turns reading, second graders and fifth graders. Then when we rotate, we'll have the fifth graders read to the second graders the new book that they've not heard yet.
I feel more confident in my teaching, saying these are things I saw. I actually saw people doing this. I saw schools where children were learning this way, things like that. So this trip has really been eye-opening for me and made me a better teacher in ways that I can share experiences with them, and it makes their learning more exciting. They definitely see more. They're always wanting to know, well, what else did I see? What else did I do?
In my fellowship, personally, I learned that I could do hard things. I am terrified of both heights and tight spaces, and one of the excursions that we did was caving, and so we went spelunking in a cave with really tight quarters, and we had to navigate through water, and we actually had to climb in different parts of the cave. So I found that terrifying, but also invigorating that, like, hey, I can do this.
One thing that I talk about with my students is invasive species. So when I was in Belize, I happened upon a little shop that was women-owned, and where they make jewelry out of lionfish scales. And the lionfish are an invasive species that is taking over. So they make these not only to help with that population, but also to support their families. So that's something else that I was able to see and bring back to my students, who are fascinated every time I wear these.
I cannot thank the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation and Fun for Teachers enough for this experience. It was life-changing, both professionally and personally. I just gained so much knowledge about scientific content and culture that I have brought back into my classroom, and I just am eternally grateful to the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation and Fun for Teachers.
Well, I can't thank the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation enough and the Fun for Teachers for all the experiences that I've got to do. I never thought that I would be able to go and do those things, so that was life-changing for me. It probably was something I could not have been able to do without them, and I will be forever grateful because I have those memories and things I can bring back to my students and myself that I will never forget.
Soy Profesora Diamond from Cleveland Heights High School, and I'm here to tell you about my trip to Havana, Cuba, thanks to Fun for Teachers. When I boarded my flight, I was just a bundle of emotions because I did not think that this was something that would actually come true for me. And I was on a flight and it was full of Cubans, and I was like, I'm getting ready to be immersed in their culture. And everything was just so different. I've been to a lot of other Spanish-speaking countries, but every place has its own feel and its own kind of vibe, and Cuba definitely takes the cake as far as it being a unique country, and that's why I wanted to go, but I thought that it was going to just be like going back in time, which for some things was very true, and in some other cases it was not. Okay, so in our textbook, we do have some culture, and each section tends to highlight a different region. So I always felt like there was something missing in the section about Cuba, so I wanted to have a first-hand experience and be able to share that with my students. Hola! Okay, so I'm thinking communism, I'm thinking order, I'm thinking no freedom of speech, and it was not giving that. Cuba was definitely giving open-minded, religious tolerance. I saw different people organizing for, especially African traditional religions. A lot of people just worshiping in practice and having ceremonies in the street.
Soy Carolyn Pavel. I'm a Spanish teacher here at Heights High School and a colleague of Abby's, and she contacted me about this project idea that she had with partnering with my Spanish classes here at the high school to bring the experience that she had in Cuba into the classroom. And I jumped on it right away.
The students did infographics on Cuba to learn a little bit about it. I did a presentation about Cuba. In Cuba, they're really, really big on boxing and more so baseball. They do. And then we had Jose video conference in, and Carolyn said, well, that's all great and everything, but how about we have him go outside and bring Cuba to the students? So upon her suggestion, he did that.
And the students loved it. They went crazy.
And I have a beautiful view of the old Havana. So, ahora mismo estoy en la Habana Vieja.
And as soon as they saw Jose on the screen in our video conference, and he was just so friendly and so warm and welcoming to them, and showing them Cuba in the background and Havana in the background, and they see this gorgeous architecture and these palm trees, and they see this friendly guy who kind of looks like a face like theirs, like somebody who might be a teacher here at Heights that they could relate to, and they wanted to talk to him.
On behalf of Cleveland Heights High School students and myself, thank you Martha Holden, Jennings Foundation, and Funds for Teachers for bringing Cuba into Cleveland Heights High School.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Ellie. I teach 8th grade science at Euclid Middle School.
Hi, my name is Tamika Easley. I am an 8th grade intervention specialist here at Euclid Middle School.
Hi, I am Gail Bowers-Craig. I am an 8th grade science teacher at Euclid Middle School.
And we went to Ecuador!
And so we went to Ecuador, and the first place we stopped at was Guayaquil. At Guayaquil, we went to the iguana park where we saw so many iguanas, and there I took pictures and videos, and I brought it back to the classroom so they could see the diversity of animals that Darwin also looked at when he went to Ecuador and went to the Galapagos Islands. When I realized that they were volcanic islands, I took pictures of the ground so they could see the rocks and see how it related to the volcanic unit that we study. Kind of brought all of that together, bringing it all together with evolution, and how Darwin's theory and how his voyage was when he looked at all the different land animals.
The trip impacted my classroom teaching because I was able to experience firsthand Darwin's theory and the different nature activities that we participated in, and I'm able to come back to my classroom and share it with my students. Instead of reading from a textbook, we're also able to share pictures and videos that we took while we were on the trip.
So all of the pictures are at the top. All of the pictures are at the top. So you're just going to go through, you're going to click on each picture. You'll see penguins.
That was cool. Crabs.
Tortoise, crabs. So when we went to one of the turtle breeding, we got to walk around with the turtles, and it was just amazing seeing how big they were. And then they had the turtle shells, so I actually got to climb inside the turtle shell, and it was crazy. Just I wasn't expecting it to be that heavy as it was, and just the movement was so limited. So it was an amazing experience.
So we saw the tortoise on San Cristobal, San Cruz, and Isabella, the 3 islands. So we looked at the tortoise, and each one of the islands, they had different shapes. Some were very large, some were average size but still large. And right now we're on the evolution unit, and that basically showed them how natural selection worked for these animals, as well as it worked for the human beings that were there on these islands and in Ecuador. And to bring it back to the classroom, where the kids not only see videos that we show them from YouTube at the different islands, and the kids were like, "Is that you? You're talking, you're telling us all this?" I said, "Yes, we were there. These things are real." So for them to see the reality of Darwin and his voyage coming true for their teachers was, like, to me, mind-blowing, and they seemed so excited about it.
I would absolutely recommend teachers to take advantage of the Fun for Teachers grant if they have the opportunity. It's a wonderful experience.
This was an amazing experience, being able to travel to the Galapagos Islands and see Charles Darwin's museum and see some of his actual work pieces. Being able to see the different finches, their beaks, and being able to bring those real life experiences back to our students was just amazing. It's an experience I will never forget.
Thank you, Fun for Teachers.
And the Martha Holding Jennings Foundation.
My name is Marla Dahl. I teach at Liberty Local Schools in the P6, PK through 6 building.
Hi, my name is Becky Buchenik, Ms. B. I teach 5th grade math here in Hubbard Schools. For our fellowship grant, my partner Marla and I, we traveled to the southwest of the United States, and we studied constellations in the dark sky communities of Utah and Arizona.
My friend Becky Buchenik, my partner who I traveled with, she found this grant, and our sons played baseball together, and we said, let's do it. So we applied for it. She is more of a math teacher, I'm the science teacher, and we just have a love to travel. We love the national parks. We love visiting places in America, and it just, we love to bring other places that our kids can't visit to our classroom. Bryce Canyon Astronomy Festival was amazing. When you arrive, they have activities during the day. We learned about the Roman telescope. We got to look at the sun through solar telescopes. We did some hiking. In the evening, they had amateur and professional astronomers that set up telescopes that we can view, and they helped us find things in the night sky. We went on a tour through the park to look at different types of stars
from them. So what I learned as a teacher is it's not static. I'm not done with my teaching just because I graduated, that I need to constantly learn and find ways to integrate my knowledge to my classroom.
So our fellowship, we have a STEAM night tonight, actually, that we have Becky's coming over. She teaches at Hubbard, and we are doing a solar system scavenger hunt. It's a March Madness theme. You can see our shirts, and students have to do a scavenger hunt through the solar system, and then we check their quick answers and they get to shoot baskets. A little bit about the sun. Why is it my favorite? It gives life to everything here on planet Earth. So I try to tell the kids that, you know, it gives us vitamins and it gives us life.
Thank you so much to the organization. I'm so thankful for you guys. I sing your praises at every opportunity I can.
I think sometimes I'm speechless that we were given that amount of money to go and tour. Just the supplies I got from my classroom, the resources, the tours, the information I learned. It is amazing, and I am very thankful that they do this for teachers, because there's a lot of us out there, and it's a great opportunity. Everybody should learn about it.
My name is Eleni Yargo. I'm a teacher here at Boardman High School in Boardman, Ohio. I teach in the science department and I teach 9th and 10th graders. So on my fellowship, I was able to go to Cairns and Sydney, Australia. During this time, I was given the opportunity to do some research and some investigating on the sea turtle species that are found in that area and really take a look at how those species are affected by climate change. So when I was in Cairns specifically, I was able to go to Fitzroy Island, which is an island part of the Great Barrier Reef, and I was able to go on pretty much a full day experience with some scientists and with some fellow learners, and we were able to look at different organisms, including sea turtles, in the Great Barrier Reef and how those populations are affected. Specifically, what we saw is the effect of coral bleaching in the Great Barrier Reef, which affects all species, but a lot of times the sea turtles that live in that area as well. So it was really neat to be able to get that hands-on experience, actually be able to see the marine life that's still surviving and thriving pretty well, but then the negative effects of that as well. And I was able to bring that back to my students and in the classroom and give them a real-life experience of what that is looking like in that part of the world. The second part of my fellowship was to go to Sydney, specifically the Powerhouse Museum. They had an ongoing investigation and webinar series.
Australia's most ambitious climate-focused cultural project by the Powerhouse.
That actually shed some light on problem solving to some of these environmental issues that we have going on worldwide. Coming back from my fellowship, I was able to organize and coordinate an instructional unit based on everything that I was able to learn and then help my students learn. I always find that it's a struggle to get kids passionate about and interested in maybe things that I'm interested in. So bringing back those experiences to make an instructional unit was actually a lot of fun. A lot of them have been able to see just kind of like the lights go on, right? The light bulb moments where they're able to really get excited about something. Some of them are even excited about their own possible and prospective travels in the future to get a hands-on experience of their own in nature. So the Great Barrier Reef is made of several hundreds even of islands, and then going to another one, you're just kind of able to see just how they're slightly different from each other. Each of those islands are essentially different ecosystems. So we were able to see some different organisms, some different structures that we were able to see, different depths. I know that where I was in Fitzroy Island didn't go to the depth that I was able to in the kind of like the boat snorkeling tour that we went on. So you're just able to get a better idea of the scope and the magnitude of the Great Barrier Reef. It's not all the same. Sometimes we have just like this Finding Nemo idea of that it all kind of looks like this. All the organisms are the same, all the fish are the same, but it's an extremely biodiverse habitat that needs to be appreciated. I just want to express my sincerest thanks to the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation and to Fun for Teachers. This experience was truly life-changing. It was unforgettable. I'm so glad and so appreciative that you selected my proposal to go on this trip. As I said, it's something that I'm going to see a lot of benefit from in the years to come in my instruction and in my students, and that's what it's all about as a teacher for me.
My name is Nicole Morgan. I work at Perry Local School District in Perry, Ohio. I teach 6th grade math and science, and my fellowship took me to Iceland. So I chose Iceland initially because part of my science curriculum has to do with rocks and minerals, and we spend a lot of time here in Ohio studying the sedimentary rocks that make up our world. I also heard right before I was about to submit my fellowship that a volcano started erupting, and so I thought there might be an off chance I got to see it, but I didn't because it ended. So one of the things that I really wanted to do when I designed my fellowship was to snorkel in Sulfra Fissure, which is a fissure in the earth that was opened up through plate tectonic spreading, and now it's part of a lake, and it's filled with water that's spring fed and basically sits at about 34 degrees Fahrenheit year round. So they bundle us all up in dry suits, and you get a chance to snorkel in what is probably the most clear water I've ever seen, and also definitely the coldest water I've ever been in. It took about 30 minutes to feel my lips again. I also coach track here, and there was a day that we were, walking along the black sand beaches and just generally enjoying all the volcanic world that we were living in, and we wandered over to a local high school where I saw that the long jump pit was filled in with volcanic black sand, which I just thought was fantastic. We had the opportunity to go on a boat ride into a glacial lagoon. So that was, a glacier came down to the water, and then, we boated around there, and there were, big chunks of ice that had calved off the glacier that were floating along in there. Got to really truly see the vastness of how much used to be underwater, which was absolutely impressive and makes you really take to heart how boats can sink when they hit icebergs. So one of the other places that I visited when I was there was called, I'll probably mispronounce this, but Jaime Island, and it's an archipelago of islands off of the island of Iceland that were formed by volcanoes. Yeah, there's something called the lava show where apparently these scientists spent a good 4 or 5 years wondering if they could make, let's call it tourist lava. Iceland has had a number of eruptions in the past 20 to 30 years that people have been able to get really close to and observe, but obviously that's not ideal for many volcanic eruptions, and yet people still have this desire to see lava up close. It was the coolest thing to see those ideas that I teach in the classroom kind of come to life in front of my eyes. This is my second fellowship, and I find myself learning more and more every time, and feeling incredibly lucky that I get to take these experiences back to the people that I work with, and the children who get to see the world through my eyes.
Hi, my name is Vicki Gagline. I teach at Tri-County North Elementary in Lewisburg, Ohio. I teach second graders this year.
Hi, I'm Julie Hageman, and I am here at Tri-County North Elementary School. And I teach first and second grade special education. I work with the first and second grade teachers.
Hi, my name is Trish Tobias. I am a first grade teacher here at Tri-County North Elementary School in Lewisburg, Ohio.
For our fellowship, I went with a team of teachers to Hawaii to learn about the culture and bring it back to our classrooms.
During our fellowship, we went to 5 different islands, and we got to experience the culture, the food, everything about Hawaii.
We were able to spend 10 days in Hawaii. 3 of the first days were spent on the main island, and then we got to visit 3 other islands besides that.
We tried to weave what we learned in Hawaii throughout the whole entire year. We had pen pals that we wrote monthly. We studied a lot of science units. We did a unit on volcanoes and how the Hawaiian Islands were formed from those volcanoes. We built volcanoes, and the kids had a blast with that. We talked a lot about things that we could do to protect our environment. We made water bottles so they don't use those plastic bottles. We made recyclable bags to get rid of those plastic to save the turtles. Our class adopted a turtle, and we've been watching as it travels around. It's not a Hawaiian turtle, but we're still looking out for those turtles.
We were able to go to an authentic luau, and this was the Warrior Luau, and they had a wonderful presentation of the old culture Hawaii, and we were able to bring that back to our students with the food and the culture and all the different things that the luau provided.
So today at our luau, the students were able to do a traditional play that we have here in the States and give a little twist of it with the Hawaiian things included in it. And with that, we chose to teach the students how to hula, and that involved us watching a lot of videos, and we found a song that the kids really enjoyed that they were able to do their hula dance to. The other thing that my class did that they really enjoyed was we found just the traditional head, shoulders, knees, and toes, but it was spoken in the Hawaiian language. So we spent some time with the kids learning the different Hawaiian words, and we were able to perform that today.
One of the most moving experiences was seeing this banyan tree that was thousands of years old and how the roots had just spread and it engulfed you. It made me feel small, but the wonder of nature is amazing.
We had the wonderful opportunity to meet with other teachers in Hawaii and form a collaboration that we used throughout our school year. We merged our classrooms and we found out that, you know what, around the world, children and teachers are the same.
I just want to thank the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation, along with Fund for Teachers, for giving us this opportunity. I think it has made my teaching better. I know that my students love being able to learn about kids just like them.
I'd like to thank the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation and the Fund for Teachers. It has changed me as a person. It has changed me as a teacher.
I want to say a special thank you to the Martha Holden Jennings Foundation and Fund for Teachers, because this was the most amazing experience I have ever had in my life, and it really changed the way I teach.